Hello, and welcome back to Behind the Waves. I am Lauren, and today I'm inviting you into a softer moment, a reflection on a recent experience that really stirred up a mixture of fear, anxiety, and eventually peace. Sleep can feel like a sacred act of surrender, but for me, it hasn't always been so simple. I want to talk about something that shook me recently, and these are hypnic jerks. If you've never heard of them, they're those sudden, jolting sensations that can feel like you're falling in a dream or slipping out of sleep, only to jolt awake. And for me, they're something that has felt like a free fall straight into panic. In the moment, fear crept in quickly. My body startled awake, my breath became really shallow, and my mind started to race. I felt really vulnerable, unsure if I'd be able to fall asleep again, and with my asthma always present in the background, I was aware of how vital and important it was to create a sleep space that felt as calm as possible. I soon found myself leaning into what I knew, checking my environment, reducing my triggers, and turning to knowledge for reassurance. I learned that these jerks often happen when my body is heading into stress, refusing to let go, or even to try and rest. Understanding the why behind what was happening gave me just enough space to breathe. I took a few steps to create softness around me. I listened to podcasts, letting the gentle hum of voices that were familiar to me keep me company without overstimulating my senses. Sometimes it is just the low voice that you've heard before in a show that can be that safety net that you need when anxiety starts to rise, and that can keep the shadows at bay. And something else I realized, I was getting irritated by how my smartwatch felt against my skin. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's a really small thing, but in that moment, it felt really, really big. And also the reminder of what the time was, tracking my sleep, tracking my heart rate, that was only adding to my stress. So the next best thing was to control what I could. So I let it go. And removing it became this small yet big act of freedom, letting my sensory needs take the lead. I also leaned deeply into my breathwork practice, slow inhales and longer exhales, each one inviting my body towards safety. And it was in that quiet, rhythmic breath that my intuition whispered something to me. I felt the truth rise gently within me, reminding me of my chronic fatigue and my chronic pain. It was as if my body was asking to be acknowledged, not ignored. I'd been trying to block out that pain, pushing it aside as though it wasn't there. But this meant that my nervous system had noticed, and it was speaking through tension, through stress, and through these sudden jolts that were keeping me awake. So I listened to that message and turned to something that I knew would support me, and that was my acupressure mat. I sank into it, allowing the gentle pressure to meet my body where it hurt and to release what I had been holding on to. That moment felt like a deep exhale. Relief poured in, and I slept so deeply afterwards, and it reminded me just how important this simple ritual is for my well-being. Going into 2025, using my acupressure mat daily is one of those wellness goals that I am going to be committing to. It's a reminder to honor my body's needs instead of bypassing them. It's a reminder for me to ground myself through touch and stillness. So if you've ever felt fear rise up within those sleepy moments, whether it's a jolt awake or a restless night, I hope that this reminds you that you are not alone. Sometimes the path to rest is all about listening, tending to yourself, and creating space for release in a safe way. Thank you ever so much for being here with me today, and I hope that you'll carry this softness into your own night. I hope that you have a very gentle night, and I will see you soon.